Thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Usually when I talk about Ana Luisa, I'm telling you about how they are my favorite everyday jewelry brand. And that's absolutely true. But today, I want to show you how beautifully their jewelry also works for special events. So my son and I have a small role in an upcoming Dutch film called Boeien. And here you can see me getting ready for the film premiere. For the event, I really wanted to wear bolder pieces than I usually do, and these earrings and bracelet were perfect. I felt great, and as usual, the jewelry was super high quality and really comfortable to wear. One of the reasons that I love being an Ana Luisa ambassador is because of their sustainability mission, which focuses on 3 main areas: planet, people, and product. Ana Luisa understands the environmental impact associated with all stages of their jewelry manufacturing process. Their impact is offset every quarter through certified gold standard carbon reducing projects for their carbon footprint and water restoration certificates for their water footprint. The best part is that their sustainable jewelry starts at just $39 and they offer fast shipping worldwide. So if you're looking for a treat for yourself or someone else in your life, make sure you check out their website. And if you use my code, you'll get an extra 10% off your purchase. So check the link in the description box below and in the pinned comment, because when you support our sponsors, you support our channel. And Ana Luisa really is somebody that I believe in and love, and this brand is so close to my heart. So thank you, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring this video and for being one of our long-term partners. And now on to today's video. Hi, welcome to Jovie's home. So today I want to talk about a topic that our family has recently had to address, which is childcare in the Netherlands for our school-aged children. I used to be a stay-at-home mom. If maybe you know, if you've been following me for a while, I used to just YouTube from home and then take care of the kids in the afternoons. But since our youngest started school full-time, I also started working full-time, and now we were left in this kind of position that we had to find childcare. One of the biggest issues that we face as an immigrant family in the Netherlands is really the lack of family support. So for us, it's like we can't count on grandma or grandpa or auntie or uncle or whoever to just like pick up the kids from school when we're working. When you are just living in the place where your whole family is and you are all helping each other out, maybe people don't realize like how much help that really is. But I'm sure that other families are in the same position where it's just the mom or dad or both of you together with no extended support. And so you're trying to figure out how to help like raise your kids and how to like care for them and stuff while you're still working full time. In the Netherlands, the most common thing for working parents is to put their children in a BSO, or an after school care program. And that is currently where our children are now. But from September on, we have decided to go for an au pair option, and I will get into that now. The BSO is great, but there's definitely some negatives to the BSO in my opinion. Our kids had a ton of different after school activities that they were doing, like swimming and ballet and like language lessons, things that they were doing off campus after school during the week. And of course, once they started the BSO, they couldn't do that anymore. So we had to take them out of all of their activities and things like that, which we didn't love. The BSO is great. They do fun things there too, but for us, it's really about the activities and getting some extra support. So yeah, this is what made sense for our family. And if that also maybe makes sense for your family and you're looking to get some more information, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to cover the following. Here we go. We're going to cover the Dutch rules and regulations around au pairs, the rules that for the parents or the host family, but also for the au pairs. We're going to cover the au pair salary, their working hours, and their duties. We are going to go through some of the considerations, at least for my family. Maybe it's also for your family or maybe not, but I'm going to go through some of the considerations that we went through. And also I will share our actual process and experience in hiring an au pair. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. All right, so let's get into the rules. These are the Dutch rules and requirements. I'm sorry if you're not in the Netherlands, check the rules in your own country, but this is what governs us. This is why I'm familiar with this. So for a host family, in order for you to be able to host an au pair at your home, you need to have a minimum income. For a married couple that is looking to hire an au pair, the minimum combined income is somewhere between $2,600 and $2,800 gross per month for the couple together. And the reason for this range is it depends whether or not your 8% holiday pay is paid out monthly or in a lump sum later. So if it's monthly paid out, then that requirement is the higher one and the $2,800. And if it's only paid out in one lump sum, then $2,600-ish is the kind of minimum income requirement. The second thing that you need is to have a separate room in your home. Cannot be that you are planning to like have the au pair sleep on the sofa in the living room. No, he or she must have a separate room for themselves with a door that can close and a window that can open. You cannot shove them in like a Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs. They cannot live there either. So really they need a full bedroom just for them. The third thing that you need to consider is that you are going to have a person living with you for up to 1 year. 1 year is the Dutch maximum for having one au pair. I mean, you can hire multiple au pairs for multiple years, but one person can stay with you up to a maximum of a year. And so you just really need to consider whether or not you will be able to host somebody for a year in your home and also kind of participate in a little bit of like a language and cultural exchange, because that is the point of the au pair program. And then the last thing, but not the last thing, but the last thing that I'm going to mention is that you need to consider that this au pair will need to have some time to attend language courses or some cultural activities in the country, because again, the point for an au pair to come to you is that they want to experience the language and the culture of the country where they're coming to. So they must have an opportunity to experience that. There are a few other things. I don't need to get into the details. If you really want to know, like, we can Google it, but these are kind of the main ones. As for the au pair, the requirements for the au pair is that she is, or he, I'm going to keep saying she, but he or she are between the ages of 18 and 30. However, the rules are changing from October 2022. So then the age will be between 18 and 25. They also must be unmarried and with no children of their own. And this also must be their first time doing a au pair exchange, cultural exchange in the Netherlands. So one au pair cannot, just swap families around in the Netherlands and stay here for like 10 years doing, with 10 different families. No, you can come one time to the Netherlands, 1 year, and then you can go on and do au pair work in other countries, but these are the rules, the Dutch rules. The au pair salary is dictated by the Dutch government. There is a maximum, and the maximum is at this moment 340 euros per month. If you are thinking, oh my God, that is so low, you have to think of it like this. The au pair is living in your home. You are providing the food. You are providing like basically everything. And so the au pair salary is more like pocket money, or it's like a paid internship for a student, which also has these quite low amounts. But that is what it is. It is 340 euros per month. You can choose to pay less. I mean, you can somewhere between 300 and 340 is kind of the standard. But this is the au pair salary as governed by Dutch law. With that also comes a limitation on the au pair's working hours. So an au pair can work a maximum of 30 hours per week. So 30 hours per week, and then the salary is 340 euros per month. Within those 30 hours per week, they may work a maximum of 8 hours in one day. So don't plan on having somebody for 12 or 16 hours. That's not possible. It's 8 hours per day maximum, and they must have a minimum of 2 days off. It is not necessary that the 2 days are on the weekend, or it is not necessary that they are even connected. So it can be that they work every day except Tuesdays and Fridays, for example. That's possible, but they must have 2 days a week off. It is also really nice if you try to give your au pair at least one weekend off a month, if you can do that. As far as the duties go, their duties kind of revolve around the needs of the children and the things that have to do with them. So for example, they can take care of the kids, they can get them ready for school, they can prepare children's meals, they can even do like a little bit of stuff like household duties. We'll get to that now, but like they can do things connected to the kids. They are allowed to do what's called light household tasks. So for example, you can ask your au pair to maybe fold the laundry of the kids. So if you yourself do the laundry and then maybe you have all the clean stuff in a basket, it's okay to ask your au pair to maybe fold the kids' stuff and put it in their rooms. It is not okay to have the au pair doing all of the family's laundry all the time, folding, putting away also for the parents. That's pushing the boundary. But things connected to the kids, it's okay. Another household task, or like a light household task, could be, for example, after breakfast, you can ask the au pair to maybe like tidy up the table, vacuum up the crumbs like around the table. You can't ask her or him, you cannot ask them to vacuum the whole house, but you can ask them to, tidy up like around there. So small, light household tasks are okay. Another one that occurs to me is, for example, you can't ask them to go to the grocery store and do all of your weekly grocery shopping, but you can ask them to, I don't know, if you run out of bread and strawberries during the week, they can maybe go to the market and pick up those 2 items and bring them back. When you are looking for your au pair, the first thing that you should consider is whether you want somebody from the EU or somebody that is not from the EU. This doesn't matter for everyone, but it does matter for us, and I'm going to tell you why. Our children go to a school that is about a 10 to 15 minute drive from our house. We cannot walk to school. I mean, like, we can, but we're not going to walk that distance every day. And also, because of the weather, I don't feel very comfortable asking an au pair to use like a bakfiets in December to be picking up the kids to and from school when the distance is quite long. So for us, the idea is that the au pair will drive. And this is where the EU versus non-EU thing becomes really important. Because if you have an au pair from the EU and she has a driving license from any EU country, or EEA also, for brevity, we're going to just refer to it as EU, but from the EU or EEA countries, then that au pair's driving license is valid in the Netherlands. It is recognized in the Netherlands for the entire duration that they're here. Whereas if you are coming from a non-EU country, and if your license is recognized here, because for some they're not, but let's take Mexico as an example, because we met somebody we really liked from Mexico. But the rules about Mexican driving licenses in the Netherlands is that that person can use the driving license for a maximum of 180 days from the moment that they enter the country, which is 6 months. So if you hire an au pair from a non-EU country and you plan to have them for a year and you need them to drive, their driving license expires halfway through the validity of their driving license expires halfway through their stay. So this was a really big issue for us. And it became very, very clear that in our case, we would not be able to hire or offer anybody that is not from the EU a position as au pair in our home because of this driving license issue. Another big difference between an au pair from the EU and from the non-EU is visas. So obviously if you're coming from the EU or the European Economic Area, you do not need to apply for an au pair visa on behalf of your au pair. They can just come and work here. However, somebody coming not from the EU will have to have a visa, and therefore hiring an au pair from outside the EU will have more costs for the host family because you will have to pay for those costs and for those fees and the visas and all of that stuff. So you as the host family will need to arrange all of that and pay for all of that. We will get to the part with the agencies that can help you because there are people that can help you with that, but it doesn't matter. The costs of bringing an au pair to the Netherlands from outside the EU are much higher than bringing an au pair from within the EU. The last consideration that I want to mention here is whether or not to use an agency. Earlier, I had mentioned that if you are not coming from outside of the European Union, you don't necessarily need an agency because there's no visa involved. So it's possible that you can bring in an au pair. I don't know, if you know your cousin from whatever wants to come and live with you, you don't have to get an agency involved, right? Like it's not necessary. If you want to hire somebody from outside the EU, then an agency is necessary because only qualified au pair agencies are able to apply for an au pair visa. So once again, this increases the cost. Now, we chose to hire an agency even though our au pair is coming from the EU, and let me tell you why. So for us, the agency was able to really help out with an au pair contract. Some of the parents that I know here and I'm friends with that have au pairs have brought in au pairs with no contract, with nothing. They've just met someone they like and then said, oh, you want to be an au pair? Sure. Yeah, come. And that's it. We did not want that. We really wanted to have a contract in place that outlines the duties, the working hours, the responsibilities, not only for our own protection as a host family, but also for the au pair's protection. We felt like the agency would be able to guide us well. Both our au pair and us would have like a third party that we could reach out to if we have questions or concerns or if something is going wrong or whatever, or if we need guidance or whatever. Like you need somebody, especially if you're a first-time host family and your au pair is a first-time au pair, which is in our case. So the fact that we hired an agency to help with things like contract really give both the au pair and us a lot of comfort in knowing that we've done this thing correctly. The agency, as I mentioned, they also are here to provide like additional support to the host family and to the au pair. And for me, it's really important that our au pair knows that if something is going wrong for her, or she doesn't feel comfortable with something, or she doesn't like something, and for whatever reason she doesn't feel comfortable talking to me about it, or talking to my husband about it, or bringing it up to our family, I really, really wanted her to know and to feel like she had someone else that she could talk to, and the agency is there for that. So it was important for me to have that as a resource for our au pair so that she also feels protected. So this is something that you might consider. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is our experience and our process, how we did this and how we approach this in case it is helpful for you. We officially started our au pair search in February of 2022, and we ended up signing the contract with our lovely au pair Clara in June of 2022. So it took quite some months to find her and to get everything done. Originally, we had just signed up on like Au Pair World. So this is one of the biggest platforms. It's like a matchmaking thing between au pairs and host families. You as a host family write a little thing about yourself. The au pairs do the same, and then you can read each other's profiles and they can contact you, you can contact them, you can talk about stuff and proceed from there. This is how we started. we also started without registering for an agency. So it was just like, let's see if we can find a nice au pair through this website, and then we can take it from there. And in the end, we did find our au pair on the website. However, the agency was involved at that point. So what I really struggled trying to interview and set up meetings with au pairs without the help of an agency was just how time consuming this was. And also, I didn't realize how many people need and want au pairs, and how many au pairs, I mean, like, the process goes so fast for some people. So just like, I would find myself, spending all this time reading all these profiles and narrowing it down, and then sending like a nice email to someone who had maybe just joined the platform like that week, only to instantly get a response like, oh, thanks, I've already found my host family. And it's like, oh my God, like, things went really fast. And so I found myself getting a little bit frustrated at how time consuming this was, and how I was not actually getting anywhere. I was contacting a lot of people and not getting response, or it was frustrating. And yeah, when you are working full time and taking care of your kids full time and doing all of these things full time, to add the au pair search onto that, it was really overwhelming. So I very much appreciated having an agency at one point that took over that process. They were logging into my account, they were contacting au pairs, and they set up all the meetings and interviews. So that was a huge help for me. The agency was also really invaluable in setting up a screening process that I hadn't necessarily thought about. So the agencies are really, experienced in this kind of thing. And so they know the things to look for. They know the questions to ask. And so I found it really amazing when I would get like an update from the agency saying, okay, we connected with these 5 people, and here are the reasons that we think that they're great for your family. And here are the things that we think might be an issue for your family, or, consider, a weak point or whatever. Would you like to interview any of them? And then they would set up the second interview with me and my husband, who would then decide whether or not we want to talk further. So this was really instrumental and key for us. The agency was really helpful, not gonna lie. It did cost money. It did. I mean, that's true. You pay for this service, but it also saved me so much time and so much frustration that in the end, for me, I found it, we found it worth it. So once we decided which candidates we did want to have some interviews with, then the agency helped us to schedule Zoom interviews with them. With some of them, we had more than one. And then ultimately, when we really narrowed it down, then we were like, okay, this is great. Now you can meet the kids as well. So this is kind of how it went, the typical Zoom interview that we are now all so familiar with. Once we found Clara and met her, and it was clear that we were a match for her, she was a match for us, things were great, lots of love all around. Then the agency helped, and really they developed the contract, so we just had to send in like a few details, and then suddenly Clara and we got this like very nice long contract where everything is like addressed, like all of these things that maybe you would miss or not think about if you were doing it on your own. But yeah, this was very helpful. So they arranged the contract. They also arranged and took care of all of the administration around it. So from the host family side, like, we had to provide all of our financial information, our contracts, like our employment contracts. We also had to do a house tour with the agency so they could see where our au pair was going to be living and make sure that it was adequate and appropriate and safe, and that the environment was okay for her. And then from the au pair side, the agency was also busy like getting documents that she needed, for example, to prove that she's not married, that she is from the EU, like things like this. So like they also manage that process for her. So you guys, this is it. This was kind of the au pair video where I want to talk about the process and the rules and the way things work in the Netherlands. Our au pair will be moving in with us and joining our family on the 1st of September. So please let me know if you want another video about this, where we can either talk about what it's actually like living with an au pair, or our experience once we've had a little bit of time to get to know each other, maybe the pros and the cons, things like that. Let me know if that's interesting for you. At the same time, and I cannot speak for her, but I can certainly ask her if you guys tell me that this is interesting for you, that maybe we can do a video together, like with maybe her sharing her perspective, or like what she thinks it's like, or why she chose the Netherlands, or whatever you want. But like, let me know if you want to have a video where my au pair can address some of the things. So let me know. Alright, you guys, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and I hope you found it interesting. Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us today. Thank you also to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Please make sure you check out the information in the pinned comment below. And just know that by supporting our sponsors, you are supporting Jovie's home, and we really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much for coming over today and spending some time with me. I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Doei!